Here we have Mrs. Meyerhofer. For the last 4 years she has been the head of the accounting and is responsible for the firm's expenses. She is very ambitious to take over more responsibility in the future. Her fellow co-workers like her for appearing sociable and staying down to earth. She recently got offered a higher position she has been aiming for some time. When she would get the promotion, her main focus would be to keep up the good work environment. Most importantly, she wants to make staff members feel appreciated and create a team-oriented climate. What would be the ideal conditions for her to reach the goal? Looking at the personality traits that are important for being an effective leader, Mrs. Meyerhofer checks all the important marks. She's extroverted, open, conscientious, and agreeable, while also having low ratings in neuroticism. Especially extroversion seems to be important for getting into a leader position and maintaining one. Conscientiousness makes people more organized and thus effective, while open people tend to be more creative, think more outside the box, and have overall more innovative ideas. Neuroticism, on the other hand, makes people more unsure about themselves. They don't have the biggest expectancy about themselves and therefore don't strive for getting into a higher position. Looking at the dark triad personality profile, existing studies suggest that a little narcissism correlates positively with getting into a leader position, while psychopathy obviously isn't really doing anybody a favor in the process of climbing the career ladder. Concerning the IQ, some people might think that the more the better, but it isn't really the case here. Mrs. Meyerhofer has an IQ of 117, and that's brilliant. It's important to know that intelligence and management correlate quite good with one another, but you have to think of it as an upside-down U. A low and a high IQ can be bad for effectiveness of leaders, because being too smart wouldn't do any favor in this position. Another thing that makes Mrs. Meyerhofer great for a leader position is the type of leadership she acts on. Mrs. Meyerhofer is what we call a transformational leader. This means that she's a role model for her employees, gives individual support, and overall tries to inspire others. Under her leadership, other people can find their individuality and feel the needed support. Mrs. Meyerhofer's high extroversion and the transformational leadership allows her to inspire others, make higher demands on her employees while still keeping everyone happy. Why? Because they feel intellectually stimulated and get a feeling that they can and want to achieve greater things. But like with everything, there can be too much of a good thing. That also stands for transformational leadership. If Mrs. Meyerhofer overdoes it, it could lead to emotional exhaustion, depersonalization, or even health risks. On the other side, her employees could suffer under too much pressure or too much stress, which could harm their creativity and performance. To negate these harmful things, Mrs. Meyerhofer should first of all keep a good balance between inspiration and stress, but also remember to look for a team that is high in proactive personalities.
Created using Powtoon.